In school, I remember they showed us a video and they referred to sex as tea. Like, oh, I don't feel like tea right now.
Yeah.
Oh, they're
I've seen
asleep.
that
Like, say it, use the actual words.
Have you ever wondered how other teenagers feel about growing up? Today, I'll be talking to some teens about sex. Do they receive proper education at school?
I feel like schools are afraid to cover those sort of topics.
What about home?
Parents, oh, thank goodness you're a virgin. Like, that's probably their outlook on it.
And finally, how do friends inform their views of sex?
My friends were like, oh yeah, you'll be bleeding for days your first time.
Let's get to chatting and, of course,
Eating hot chips. How was your day, guys?
Okay, ready? We're gonna do the wiggle. Ooh, do you see that? Yeah, that's surely you catch that.
Did everyone receive sex education at school?
Yeah. Oh yeah, mandatory.
Was there anything that they didn't cover?
School does really the bare minimum. It's protection, it's consent, but there's so many other forms of consent. You need to read body language, like someone's personal experiences, their home life, stuff like that. I kind of felt angry because I see bad things happen to people and I feel like schools are afraid to cover those sort of topics because, you know, parents might get angry, why are you teaching my children that? But a lot of parents are the cause for their children behaving like that because they're not open.
I think it's very important to just be so honest and transparent and be very direct with what you're saying because I think otherwise it just doesn't come across. Like,
these are real problems for us and I think whenever having those conversations, use the actual words. In school, I remember when they were teaching us about consent, they showed us a video and they referred to sex as tea. Like, oh, I don't feel like tea right now. Oh, they're asleep. Like, say it because that just makes it feel childlike and then people behave like children when they're talking about it.
It's almost like they're hiding it. Like they're just like, they're scared to say it, like it's something to be ashamed of. When I think there's a need that it should be open to something that people are able to comfortably discuss if they want.
Does anyone feel like they can't talk to their parents about sex? You're all a lucky bunch of people.
yeah, I think my parents were super open about it, which I really appreciated.
You didn't have like a talk, like, oh, you're 16 now, time to give you the talk.
I had one like conversation with my mum. I don't think we called it the talk though, because we like covered little things here and there.
Would your parents be okay with you guys having girlfriends and boyfriends stay over? Jared, no?
My parents, no, they're against it. They wouldn't mind them like coming over in the day, but no sleepovers, no being in the same room alone. I understand that, but it's also annoying when you see other parents being so free with their kids and letting them do those things because you feel like you miss out. And then again, it just pushes kids to do it secretly.
How do you think teens think of virginity and how do you think your parents view virginity?
Teens probably, it's like a bad thing, something to be embarrassed about, and then parents, oh, thank goodness you're a virgin. Like, that's probably their outlook on it. Do you think that's like...
Yeah, no, I totally agree.
Do you guys agree?
I also think like sex has become more of a trendy thing. There's some people who are using it as almost like a flex, like, oh, I got a dick pic from X or Y, and it just becomes like this whole amplified thing. And it also scares me because I know that there's tons of younger kids, like my siblings, my cousins are all on social media, and I know that they can see this, and there's almost like an expectation for them to be involved and to have this sort of experience.
And also with social media, like, I don't know about you guys if it's the same in your schools, but when someone's broken up, you know, because they've like deleted the pictures of Instagram. And I feel like relationships are so like public and on social media that people think it's everyone's business. Like whenever you get into a relationship, people are very quick to ask the question like, have you guys had sex yet? Like it's like, okay, like that's not your business, unfortunately.
My friends were like, oh yeah, you'll be bleeding for days your first time, like all the like really like kind of graphic things. And I don't know why they said that, but that was just like a thing that they did.
You don't owe that information to anybody. Like what happens between you and your partner is totally like you guys can keep that to yourselves. So I think that's been normalised in this society especially is being very public about it, but just you don't have to be, so.
Nowadays, sex feels more transactional. Instead of a bond you have between someone, it's more like a score. The more you have, the cooler you are,
And what do you guys think the positives are about seeing or learning about sex online?
There's anonymity to like social media. So I know like I'll see videos and people are just openly talking about their experiences. If I had a horrible experience and I'm not comfortable to talk to my parents, then I can't like hide myself and try have that conversation because everyone who I try talking to would know me. And there's almost that like element of like, I don't want to be exposed like that. But like I've come across videos and I've gone to comments and people are openly sharing their experiences and it's literally like a group therapy session online. And so people can say like, well, that doesn't sound like that was consensual or like that sounds like you were pressured to do something. And sometimes that can be good.
There would be positives for people that don't have access to sex education in their schools and with their families, because otherwise how are they going to know, you know, what's happening? So I guess that could be a positive.
Like, I consider myself to be asexual, basically. And, you know, going out and just seeing people, I'm like, oh, like, I see them as attractive, but I never really felt the need to have sex and I'm not interested in it. And so growing up, you know, there was obviously things like pornography and all those other things. I was never interested in any of it.
I'm gay, and a lot of the sex ed in school is orientated towards straight relationships. That's the positive side of sexual information online, is because people can share their stories, learn lessons. I've come across heaps of videos talking about it, and I've learned so much from it, from other people's experiences.
Guys, thanks so much for your honesty and all your answers just then. That was great and I really appreciate it.
I was so close to exposing so many people.
Well done, everyone.
I know, I
That was
nearly
really
said
great.
And then I was like, no, actually.
Great job. That was a great conversation.